And we've got a special guest in from the Mercy ships this morning.
Yeah, we hope this chat is enlightening when you hear about the stories about what the beautiful people at Mercy ships do, and also inspiring. Joining us this morning is the lead recruiter at Mercy ships.
Do we keep calling it Mercy?
Far out.
Tongue twister.
He did it first and then I stuffed it up. Good morning to the lead recruiter, Fiona Hunt-Baker. Good morning, Fiona.
Good morning. Thank you so much for the honour of just being with you both. I'm very excited to be here.
I think this was meant to happen.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
We were parked up next to you guys at Festival 1. And I've got to say, I mean, you probably don't want me to mention this, but you're a true good sort with a beautiful heart. We're trying to pull you into the studio. You're busy praying and ministering to one of the Rima Media employees while you're waiting outside.
you.
So
God is so good. He's always on the job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're
wow.
a real one.
Wow.
That's good.
There's so much to unpack here. I mean, we didn't get an opportunity to sit down with you guys, although you had a really inviting stand next to us at
Thank you.
Festival 1.
Yeah.
So let's just strip this right back for those who are brand new to what you do at Mercy Ships. What is it?
So Mercy Ships, we are the largest civilian hospital ship worldwide, providing free surgeries in Africa. Our focus is bringing hope and healing. So we know that a third of deaths worldwide are actually preventable. And that's a reality that we're really passionate about changing, because it's not about the millions. It's actually often about the one life that God actually really cares about. Yep.
These, I mean, I think a lot of people will have heard the name Mercy Ships before, you know, and maybe be familiar with kind of the idea of what you do, but maybe not the specifics. You've got 2 ships, right? Can you give us a scope? How big are these boats, and where? Because boats cost a lot of money. So where do you get these size ships from?
Okay, so we have 2 ships. One, the African Mercy, and we adapted the African Mercy specifically to use it as a hospital.
Yeah.
But the Global Mercy is actually specifically built for us. So if you can imagine, the African Mercy is about the same size as the Inter-Islander.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep. So that's about the size, and that hosts about 450 volunteers at any one time. And then the Global Mercy. Okay, I'll hazard. I'll let you guys guess how many stairs do you think there are?
Global Mercy.
On the Global Mercy.
Who's counted?
Yeah, whose job was that? Thanks for volunteering. Your first job.
10 flights of stairs, and there we actually host over 650 volunteers.
Wow. So it's a
Yeah.
huge ship.
Yeah. Yep.
Amazing. And so these get parked up around the world outside the coasts of different countries, right? And then people from those countries can board to have life-saving surgeries.
Absolutely.
Is it all access medical service that you provide? Like, sorry, everything?
So because of the lack of access to surgery, we provide the whole of life surgical care on the ship. So we've got radiology,
Wow.
we've got the Hope Centre, because often, you know, when our patients come to us, they're not always strong enough for surgery. So they actually need to put on weight. You know, you think of a small cleft lip and a palate baby, and often they can be touch and go. So we actually need to feed them to get them strong enough for surgery. Those kiddies with bowed legs, they actually need to learn how to reuse their legs again.
So you sort of involved in all of that side of everything as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
How do the patients react when they take their first steps onto Mercy Ship?
To be honest, there's actually a lot of fear.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of fear. So what they've seen personally is that when someone leaves their village, they don't come home. They don't come back. And so when someone actually leaves for Mercy Ships, they have no grid for what services they may receive, and they're not expecting to come home. So actually when they come onto the ship, there's a huge amount of fear, and they're facing significant moments of shame, because in Africa, if you're
Disfigured.
If you have an illness, it's there's an assumption that there's a curse associated with that. You've done something wrong in order to look the way that you are. So a lot of our patients, they've been locked in, ostracised. They've been bullied. They're not out in the open public. They are so ashamed of how they are and who they are. So when they come to us, we absolutely we love giving them surgery, but not only that, we actually get to really love them. And I remember one of our nurses, she said she had one of her patients just say to her, you know, you're the first person who's actually really seen me. Yeah.
Beautiful.
How do you go about, so some of these countries, I mean, what you're saying, you know, the hospital care, that medical facilities, a lot of them, they've never seen anything maybe like that or on that scale or scope, you know, so it's very unfamiliar. How do you go about prioritising or knowing where a lot of these people are and getting them to the ships? Like, does that kind of happen organically, like word spreads that, hey, there's an opportunity for you to have an operation on this, or do they have to be found, or how do you navigate that?
That's an interesting question. We have, so it's a 5-year life cycle. So when we go into port for 10 months at a time, the first year is about connecting up with the government officials, and so
this is ahead of you getting there.
Yeah,
kind of
ahead of us. We build relationship with the government officials. We're doing surveys about what infrastructure actually exists in that country. In year 2, we're doing patient selection in order to understand, you know, how many surgeries are we doing of each variety? Because, you know, once again, we can't pop down the road and get some... we can't pop down the road and get an extra bandages, for example. So we have to order everything in, and we have to be very savvy about, you know, what surgeries we can do and what surgeries we can't do. So we've got specific surgeries that we know that we do, but we can't do. We can't support. You know, different issues such as cancer, or because that needs a long-term solution.
Yeah, so there's a certain scope of things that you can mainly tackle,
Absolutely. The eye surgeries, the kiddies with bowed legs, cleft lip and palate, burn surgeries, and ones that we know that are absolutely life transformative for our patients,
Fiona Hunt-Baker in studio, who's the lead recruiter for Mercy Ships New Zealand. And we were parked up next to these guys at Festival 1, got chatting quite a bit, and we're like, man, we'd love to have you in on the show to talk Mercy Ships and what you do. And I don't think we can say the name, but one of the employees of Rima Media is about to go and do a stint on a Mercy ship.
Who's
actually? Well, I can't. I don't want to.
Oh, really?
I don't know if there's public knowledge, but
that is not public knowledge.
Well, I know someone that it will be, so which is pretty cool,
Is this
right?
on the back of their chat?
Again, I said so. Like, talk to me off here.
Yeah.
But it just shows, you know, lots of people get involved, and the Mercy ships are staffed by volunteers, right? So,
absolutely.
Can we talk a little bit about, you know, we've talked about some of the surgeries and given a scope of what Mercy ships does around the world. You've got 2 ships parked up at the moment. Where are they currently, by the way?
We're currently serving in Sierra Leone and Madagascar.
Right.
In Sierra Leone, there's 5 surgeons for 8 million people.
That's crazy.
That's in the country, like on the mainland.
Yeah, that's in the country. Correct.
So when the Mercy ship is there, how many? I mean, I must fluctuate, and depending on who's volunteering at what time. But how many surgeons would you have on the boat?
I would need to double check. It depends on the specialty at the time.
Right.
But effectively, we've got about 4 surgeons at any one time. Yeah.
You got more, just about
on each ship.
You've nearly got more surgeons on the ships than you have in the actual country that you're actually ported up with. I mean, I know that's a challenge in itself, right? But could you speak to some of the other big challenges that you guys face?
So some of the challenges, so when you think of Mercy ships, people who are in the medical profession are often already aware of what we do, right? And it's a beautiful thing because for many of our nurses, they come and serve with us, and their passion for nursing is just really invigorated. So they come back and they're absolutely amping. They're like, this is what I'm here to, this is the reason why I'm nursing in the first place. I can spend time with our patients. Patient-nurse ratios are very low. Get to really care and take time for our nurses. But some of the challenges are trying to engage with different sectors, because when you think of mercy ships, a plumber or a marine electrician or an IT specialist or the finance guru or the HVAC specialist may not necessarily think, oh yes, I'm needed for mercy ships and I can be part of the solution. And so for us, the challenge is to also engage with a wider sector in order, because it takes many different hands to make the body work, right? So
how would it work, right? Like, so we're trying to dispel that kind of myth that or misconception a lot of people have, where they're like, yeah, medical people can go and do that, and that's great for them, but I'm not a doctor, so cool. I just think that's a good idea. But you need all sorts there. So how would the process work? Say I was a plumber or some sort of, like you said, an HVAC air conditioning engineer who's like, hey, I'd love to do something on the Mercy ships, and I've got 2 months off from work. How does that mean you'd basically be like, great, let's deploy you soon, or like how does that whole thing kind of work?
So the first thing that you do is that you jump onto our website, mercyships.org and .nz, and just have a look at what roles are available and some of the eligibility criteria around that. And we've got different roles for different minimum time commitments on the ship. So that's your first step. And if you're not sure about, if you've got some pending questions, we've got Kirsty Mercer who works with us, and she's amazing at just responding to any questions that people may have. And so when you start an application, Kirsty helps you through that process. It's quite a long process, actually. It can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months just to process, because as you can imagine, we're in the boondocks of Africa, and so we've got quite a robust physical evaluation required. There's lots of different paperwork, but once again, Kirsty's really here to kind of help every single person. So 3 to 6 months to process your application, and then either you go through to our talent community or you're offered dates. So
jump on the website and find out if you are in a position to be able to contribute. Anybody and anyone. Can we get back to the ship itself, Fiona, and talk about, we mentioned at the top about the transformation of lives for patients. Can you speak to a particular patient maybe you've seen, or some stories that you've brought back home that people can relate to, the actual, how massive this opportunity is to have treatment?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got so many different stories and so many different stories that really touches your heart. And if you want to investigate, just go onto YouTube and Google Mercy Ships patient stories. But Amadou really stands out for me. And now he was someone who was actually working in a hospital. And over a period of 15 years, he had this massive tumour. And it just grew and grew and grew at the end it was about half the size of his face.
Wow.
And for 15 years he prayed, and he's like, God, I actually need help. And the quote that he has is, if you're not in good health, you're ashamed, but when you're in good health, you're whole. So now he heard about Mercy Ships. He came to us, had the surgery. But what I love about Amadou is that he actually went back to his hometown of Serengeti, and he continued to provide nursing services to his hometown.
Great.
So when you help one person, often there's ripple effects.
And
that's amazing.
That too will be a lot of encouragement for other people that maybe have reservations about, I don't know, the ship or what happens there. But then, like you said, seeing someone come back and that the tumour's been removed and they're doing well, like, there's hope. for me. And what
Yeah.
a sad, example of like this guy already works at a hospital and he can't even get treatment for something that maybe was really simple that just grew into this bigger and bigger and bigger problem due to just lack of availability. So it's like the need that's out there is just so great.
Yeah. What I love about our patients is that there's a day and night experience that it's really hard to describe, but if you can imagine when hope is infused and it actually looks like it's glowing across a person, it's that experience for every single one of our patients that it's not a third of surgeries worldwide can prevent death. It is the one person in front of you who goes from darkness into a life, hope, fulfilling, transformational journey where, what didn't exist of, being connected, feeling valued, being able to contribute to society, to actually, all of those things become possible because of surgery.
Absolutely transformational in more ways than medical. I mean, this doesn't happen without people financially contributing. So what's the deal there?
Yep, so lots of different ways to get involved. And for some people, we are funded solely through our volunteers and also through the sponsorship of people worldwide. So absolutely, if you feel called to sponsor, then just jump on our website and there's multiple ways that you can assist. Other ways that you can assist is simply go onto our social media and simply share some of our social media content, because we'll be sharing different stories of different patient stories, different opportunities. So once again, spreading the word is really important.
That's probably real overlooked by people, how far that can go, right? Because maybe you're like, well, I can't volunteer to go on the ship due to circumstance. I don't have the money to support, but literally just putting the content in front of the right person, someone else might see that, and then they go on to, who knows, go work on the ship or whatever. So it's like that can go a really long way.
Yep. Spreading the word. We also love the prayers of our people who support us. So once again, we would love any prayers. The other way that you can support us is think about whether you'd like to get a team for our golf day, which is coming up on the 4th of April.
Right.
And so once again, we want to be connecting with different people at different times, but a golf day is a really great way to get to know our team, get to know our mission and our purpose, and actually have fun.
All the details on your website?
All the details. You can actually call our 0800 number, which is 0800 637 297. But once again, you'll find that on our website. We've got Jean, who is sitting, waiting right now to receive all and every call.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, well, get in touch and take a look at it. You never know. Maybe it'll open up your eyes to something, and it could be in your future to maybe go and serve on the ship somewhere, or maybe you want to donate, or even if you're good and handy with a golf club, maybe see you there on the golf day.
Or can Jean just have a chat to somebody who might be interested in asking some more questions?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Well, Fiona Hunt-Baker, lead recruiter at Mercy Ships New Zealand, thank you so much for coming in this morning. And we're going to continue to pray for you, and we just wish you all the best.
Thanyou so
God
much.
bless, Fiona.